He's known as one of the planet's finest rock guitarists, but now it seems Brian May has returned to staring at rocks and stars rather than being one himself. The veteran musician has thrilled millions of fans for decades and has even played, you'll remember this, on the roof of Buckingham Palace for the Queen. But today he published a book that claims to be the complete history of the universe. So there, joins us now from the Royal Society in central London. Thank you for joining us on Lunchtime Live, Brian. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Complete history of the universe. Where do you start?
You start at the beginning, which is 13.7 billion years ago. And you start with an infinitesimally small space, and we think time started there as well. This book actually does tell the story from beginning to end. It's very unusual. I don't think it's ever been really done before in this way. We don't diverge, we don't talk about when things were discovered. We just talk about what happened and then what happened next and then what happened next after that. And we bring the story up to the present day and then into the future as well, as far as we can see.
OK, you're an expert, of course. Patrick Moore, we all know him. He's an expert. Chris Lintott, he studied, I think, at Oxford. He's an expert as well, too. Do we need to have a brain the size of the planet to understand it?
No, the whole point is that this is really not a book for scientists. We've really tried to keep it very simple without talking down to anyone, but there is no maths in it. It's just plain English, and we hope that it's understandable to anyone. From quite a young age, I think, a sort of 10 or 11-year-old will actually find this comprehensible. Kids are bright these days, I know, but anyone who's interested should be able to get this. It looks like this. Can you see me?
Yeah, I've actually got a copy here, actually.
Ah, you have, oh good, yes. It bangs on the front, so you'll see it on your bookstall, banging away as an exploding fireball.
So, it's like a hologram on the front, isn't it? What's your interest? Remind our viewers what your interest is.
Sorry?
Remind our viewers what your interest is in the complete history of the universe and how you first got involved.
I got involved because Patrick asked me to, really. We've become very good friends over the years, and he's been saying for a long time we should write something together. So he really called the shots. He said, look, I've got this project, I want to write the complete history of the universe, and I want you to write it with me. So we went from there. This is about 3 years ago when we were in the north of Scotland observing an eclipse. So we just did it in bits and pieces. We used to go down to his house and every couple of weeks and just spend some time concentrating with Chris Lintott, who's a wonderful member of the team. He's from London, Oxford and Cambridge, very bright.
And you were an astronomer, weren't you, before you were a rock guitarist?
I was, yes, really I was. That was my proper job. I did a physics degree at Imperial College, and I did 4 years postgraduate in the motions of zodiacal dust in the solar system. And then something called me out into music, and I had to go. But I guess it's time to return full circle to some of this stuff. I'm very happy that I can. I feel very fortunate. What
was it like working with Patrick Moore? Is he as scary as he looks on the telly?
Patrick Moore is the most wonderful man on this earth. He's the most generous, the most modest, the most gentle, and obviously incredibly well informed. And he has a wonderful sense of humour. Every second that we spend down there is a joy. He's a great friend, and I feel very privileged to say that. A fantastic man.
Do you still have time to work on music or not anymore?
Well, I've taken the day off. I'm actually very deeply working on the music at the moment. We're in the studio, Roger and I, as Queen, are in there with Paul Rodgers, and we've been putting some tracks down this last few days, and it's fantastic. It's the first real new sort of Queen material, if you like, for many years. So we're very excited, and we're going full pelt. There's a lot of passion in there. And it sounds pretty heavy.
I was going to ask you what's happening with Queen. We miss you. When can we hear more stuff from you?
Well, hopefully soon. The tracks seem to be coming out very well, so we'll have to think about whether this is an entire album or whether it's just a few tracks. And there's a possibility we'll go out on tour next summer as well. We're thinking about that.
And what was it like to play on the roof of Buckingham Palace? I have to ask you that.
Frightening, beyond belief. An exercise in facing fear. But wonderful, the biggest rush I've ever had in my life, I think. They do say everything that's worth doing ought to be scary. Well, this was very much worth doing and very, very scary.
Did you ever fancy being a space tourist?
I do kind of fancy it. Yeah, it's tempting, yeah, to go up there. I'm involved in the opening of the biggest telescope in the world next summer as well, which I'm really looking forward to, which is the GTC in the Canary Islands. So we're going to do an inauguration ceremony for that. So that's pretty close to the stars. I suppose, yeah. I kind of fancy going up there.
Hopefully you'll get the opportunity. Now, final question, rock star or astronomer? Which one floats your boat more?
I can't answer. Both and lots of other things. I seem to be a person who can't rest. I love to work. I love to do things which have never been done before. I love to make things happen. So I'll probably go in the studio after this day of astronomy and make some music and thoroughly enjoy it. And I'll probably be working on stereoscopic photographs tomorrow. So I love it all, really. I can't make a choice. Can't do that.
Brian May talking to us about Bang, the complete history of the university's new book out. Thank you very much indeed for sparing the time. Thanks.
Thank you. So blessed.